Kristin, I told our viewers early last week that there was a lot of speculation that the independent candidate, the former Democrat, the member of the Democrat royal family, if you like, Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that he was likely to pull out of the race and endorse Donald Trump. He did that later in the week. Have a look.
To throw my support to President Trump. The causes were free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on our children.
Now, what does this mean for Donald Trump, Kristin? Does he pick up, an extra 5% of the voting population because of this endorsement, or does it not make too much difference at all?
I can't overstate how important this is, Chris. People supporting RFK Jr., these aren't people who like the establishment. They are far more likely to just hold their nose and vote for Donald Trump, even if they might not like his personality, than to support the Democrat machine, which at this point represents crony capitalism, big business interests, and entrenched bureaucrats. We have seen moments in history where you've seen a shift in political parties. Right now, we are living through one of those, and you're seeing old school Democrats, hippies from the 60s and 70s, who may end up voting for Trump because they liked RFKJ, but now he's dropping out, and they don't really have a political home, but they identify more with Trump than with the Democrat machine.
Yeah, fascinating analysis. We'll keep a close eye on polling in the next couple of weeks to see how that plays out. I want to show you something from an Australian politician. You won't have seen it. It happened on our public broadcaster, a publicly funded leftist media outfit last night. And it's a typical analysis you get by the political left around the world about their fears about a Donald Trump presidency and what would happen, a second Donald Trump presidency, and what it would do in global affairs. Have a look.
I do regard Trump, particularly what Trump's foreign policy would look like, frankly, as a real danger to the West. I mean, he, in my view, would on day one throw Zelensky under a bus. Mm-hmm. He would send a signal to Putin that Putin can get away with what he liked. And does anybody seriously think that if Putin received that signal, he wouldn't chance his hand somewhere like in the Baltic states? And if that were to happen, does anybody believe that Trump would defend the Baltic states? Of course he wouldn't.
Now, this bloke was on the conservative side of politics in Australia, Kristin. He was the Attorney General. He then went on to be effectively our ambassador in London. But I don't think he could be more wrong. Doesn't history prove him absolutely wrong?
Of course it does. And what we've learned is that Trump derangement syndrome is extremely contagious. And people who are entrenched in politics on both the left and the right don't like Trump because he represents a threat to the system, to global interests when you're talking about entrenchment and bureaucrats. If you want to talk about foreign affairs and Donald Trump, he's the only U.S. president who, in recent political history, who hasn't gotten us into any more wars. We should be celebrating Trump's foreign policy achievements. Of course, the sky is all wrong.
Yeah, of course. When Obama was president, Putin took Crimea, and when Joe Biden was president, he tried to take all of Ukraine. So history shows, as you say, that Putin stayed in his box while Donald Trump was president. Thanks for joining us again, Kristin. Catch you next week.
Thank you very much, Chris.